Namaskar. I welcome you for today's Vishwa Nruthya Bhushana online classical dance festival, hosted by Bhushan's Academy of Performing Arts and Visual Presentation, myself, on our Facebook page, Vishwa Nruthya Bhushan. Thank you for following us, witnessing so many interactions that happened since August 10th. ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ವಿಶ್ವ ನೃತ್ಯ ಗಾನಭೂಷಣ ಉತ್ಸವಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಬದರಿ ದಿವ್ಯ ಭೂಷಣ್, ಭೂಷಣ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರದರ್ಶಕ ಕಲೆಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ದೃಶ್ಯಕೃತಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರದ ಪರವಾಗಿ ಆಹ್ವಾನಿಸ್ತೇನೆ. ಆಗಸ್ಟ್ 10ರಿಂದ ಸತತವಾಗಿ ನಡೆದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಈ ಉತ್ಸವದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಲವಾರು ಮಹನೀಯರನ್ನ ನೀವು ಅರಿತುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಅವರ ಹತ್ರ ಅವರ ಮನದಾಳದ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನು ಹಂಚಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಾ. ಈಗೋ ಈ ದಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಉತ್ಸವದಲ್ಲಿ ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಶುಭಾ ಧನಂಜಯ್, ಪ್ರಖ್ಯಾತ ನೃತ್ಯಾಂಗನೆಯಾದಂತಹ ಗುರು ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಶುಭಾ ಧನಂಜಯ್ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರನ್ನ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸೋಣ. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have Srimati Shubha Dhananjay joining us for the discussion over here, an interactive session about her productions, journey, and so on. Let's welcome Srimati Shubha Dhananjay. Namaskara, Shubha avare.
Namaskara.
It is so wonderful to meet you here. I'm so glad and happy that you accepted to be a part of this beautiful online Vishwa Nruthya Bhushana series, where we could get a peep or an insight into your wonderful artistic journey. Hege nimma kalige nrityada kade voluvu. When did you start liking dance and you thought you should be learning dance?
Yeah, my journey as a student of dance started as early as 7 years old. It was quite accidental, but it was a sweet one. And without my knowledge, I already knew that I would never leave dancing. And many people thought they will just learn for hobby's sake. But right from the very first experience of getting into the dance class, I always knew that I may leave anything, but not dance. So that was the journey. Guru Madhuri. I don't know what he saw in me, but I felt like even if I just be dedicated to him, I may be called a dance artist one day. That was his love for me, and that was his faith in me, and I could only do that, the dedication part, and I was quite sincere in my practice as far as my knowledge went, and it was beautiful. I came under the guidance of my Guru Srinivas when I was already 15 years old, and before that, in fact, I had already learned under two different gurus who have also helped me thoroughly. But this training under Sri world is dancing, and I could see dance everywhere, every day in my life, and everything was dance maya.
It is wonderful to see you dance, but then most women stop dancing post-marriage. How supportive was Dhananjay ji in this regard, or rather your in-laws or this? Of course, I've been talking to dancers about the same, and people who are all successful have always spoken that, obviously the spouses have to be equally supportive and caring, and dancers have a very hectic life and a very sacrificial career, I should say that, because you would not be able to give so much time to the family. But I'm sure you're always bound with you're doing everything, keeping the family perspective together or holding the family together. How difficult or how easy was this as soon as you got married and post-marriage?
Yeah, you have told all the words of sacrifice and the support, everything. I'm so lucky and so blessed, actually, because it is not only about support, it is about your life partner respecting your art, respecting what you love, and equally accepting what you are as an artist and what are your moods and your determination and your desires in life to in that field. So, in fact, I knew Dhananjay much before my wedding, and I always knew that he's always for me when it comes to dance. So it's not only his for me, but he's one who actually inspires me most of the time to keep up with more practice, because he has seen me as a very serious practitioner and a very regular performer. So, in fact, even today, he tells me that I have to practice as I used to practice when I was practicing before, at least 8 to 10 hours a day minimum, and keep performing whether there is any audience or not. So he would always love to see me, and that kind of faith in me and that kind of love towards my art keeps me going most of the times. Otherwise, as you know, like because of this commitment with family and many other um, moods of any dancer's life, any artist's life, we are bound to somehow sacrifice our main passion of what we are and what we love, but that he didn't let it happen. And I always feel very happy and very proud having my family around me, even if I'm doing any shooting or a performance or doing some choreography or anything. So that kind of blessing, I don't know. I have been blessed with a beautiful family before marriage with my parents, brother and sisters, and also post marriage.
I understand. Okay, now you got a wonderful husband who is supportive. You got a good family which also likes dance. But then not necessarily even the kids that are born in this family should be having a liking towards this art, or even should understand the nuances of art, or even be patient enough to understand that my mother or my father is a dancer, and we would want to pursue this career. How? What role did you? Was it a conscious decision, or was it by chance that both your daughters have turned out to be wonderful dancers? How did they take up this dance into their lives? Because this itself is like ಒಂದು ತಪಸ್ತರ, ತಾಯಿ ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಸತ್ಯ ನೀನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಕು, ನಮಗೆ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದಿಸ್ ಅರೀನಾ ಅನ್ನುವಂತ ಕಾಲ ಇದು. ಹಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ how was it difficult? Was it easy for them? Was it by their own interest that they took up this field?
Actually, whatever you said is very true. And as an artist, I think it's the dream of any artist to see that their children are also passionate towards this art. And for me, in fact, even before they were born, my sincere prayer to God has been, I don't know whether I'll have a male child or a female child, but one thing is, even I'll not ask for more, oh God, but even if they will not take up dance, even if they will not be into the field or a dance practitioner or anything, I would never like my child saying that I hate dance. I do not like. Because I always knew the day I feel that came in out of my child's mouth, I'm going to do so. I was so passionate and maybe a little mad also, because I could see dance everywhere, and dance was my life and dance has always been my life. So this was a sincere prayer, saying that please help me with that, because I really don't want to disown my own child, but I just want them to really love dancing. And God has blessed me with abundance. And I must say that both are incomparable, because I cannot compare them. I don't know how, but each are good in their own ways. If somebody says, well, she looks something like you, or she looks like you while dancing, and she looks a little better, or she looks a little more beautiful or anything, but I don't see who is more beautiful or more talented. All that I can say is both are gems in dance, and I only wish, my next prayer is, they really love this art so much that they really rediscover themselves every day through their practice and their performance.
The first daughter liking dance, probably you spent more time. How difficult was it in the initial days when the kid was young, small, a toddler or a baby, for you to conduct dance, to perform? Because you've never taken a setback and said, now let me concentrate on family and then come back to dance. We've always seen you dance through all phases. So how difficult
Yes.
was it to initiate the first few years when she was born? Then When the second kid comes, even she also develops liking towards dance. This I'm sure all of us are eager to know. This secret, rather, I should say, because this we never talk about these kind of aspects whenever we are in interviews or in talk shows. So these are the things
Yeah.
our viewers are also keen, and you will be such a great source of inspiration.
Actually, what happened is like,
Upcoming dancers who are taking this up as profession and who are on the verge of becoming mothers or probably would have got married. Please.
yeah. The thing is like the moment I was carrying, I felt like because every new mom takes a long break, and I didn't want to stay away from my students because I loved my students a lot. And most of the time, like almost more than 12 to 14 hours, I used to spend with my students from morning till midnight. So that was the kind of relation that I held with my students, and I was so passionate about them, and I was so lovable, and I just felt that they are my kids. So even before I had a child, I was already thinking like after the child is born, people say that life changes because all your attention goes towards the baby and you'll not have time for more classes or to love more your students as before and all that. So I was mainly scared about that. And in fact, when during my full-term pregnancy, one of the dance teacher in Bangalore, I went to give a invitation where I was presenting around children, the best of my five students. And she said, Shubha, after this, I don't think you'll be so loving and you'll not tell so much beautiful things about your students. I was really, I was shocked. Like, I thought, am I really going to change? My feeling towards my children would it really change? So I had already made up a strong mind. So I was just like, till the day my child was born. In fact, when I was going to my labor, I took I took a special class where my students were appearing for the CCRT, the Center Scholarship, and then went. And I was just thinking, when would I get back? And imagine, I started taking class when my daughter was barely 3 days old. So I didn't find the difference. Like I always thought, like the baby will be here, and I can, dedicate a few hours to the baby. But still, the rest of the time, along with the baby, I can always be with my students and teaching them and having a lot of theory discussions and all that. So that continued right from the time when my first daughter was 3. The second challenge was, when will I come back on stage? Because it was a few months that I'd stopped performing, and everybody around me, including my parents and my friends, my students, they were all looking forward to see me perform on stage. And that came through when we had an international festival with Japanese dancers, where the teacher came from Japan and presented her students and herself in a performance, and the rest, the next of the 1 hour, I had to perform. And that was when my daughter was 4.5 years old. That means she had not yet completed 5 months. And I was quite scared, and I was really looking forward to uh, get the audience feedback and all. And my dad, my main source of inspiration, he was in the first row, sitting in the center, and he was my best critic of my life. And he could find out even if I made a small mistake in any of the items. So after the presentation of 1 hour, I was so scared. I slowly came down from the stage and looked at my dad. And one thing he said, you are much more graceful and beautiful than before. I'm so proud of you. And that was my best compliment as a dancer. And now I miss him a lot.
That's so amazing to know. These are the stories which build up confidence in so many girls or women who look up to you. And people would have thought their own perceptions were about, oh, dancers are like they don't care about the families, or they have 100 people to take care of their day-to-day chores, and they don't have to cook, or they don't have to. They just dance. Like we are almost close to film stars, film actors. where it is always the assumption of people saying that or thinking that we don't do all those normal things what any other person would do. Probably shopping or buying your own groceries or looking into your regular vegetables day to day, buying vegetables, or probably arranging your wardrobe, or could be even cooking. So many would always think we are always very dignified, and we present it in such a way that we look so graceful. So they think we never do it. We never do. Would have also had similar questions, or people would. How would you tackle that? I mean, what do you have to say about these things?
Yeah, actually, not only the outsiders, my own family, my own sisters, actually, whenever they used to call, they would tell me, do you know where your baby is? Or are you only engrossed with your students, dancing and teaching and performing, practicing and all? The first question was, do you really know where she is? Did she have her lunch and all that? And of course, they would not know. I would start the day with all the um, baby work and finish, and then only get into the other things. So that demanded more time. In fact, before I used to sleep hardly for 5 to 6 hours. Once the baby was there, it went to hardly 2 months, because that was the time when I was also passionate about more learning, because my guru had passed away, and I felt like without my guru's support and somehow his presence, if I stop practicing, if I thought that I'm already a great performer, if that kind of feeling came upon me, and if my performance level, I really didn't want it to go down. So what happened is I joined a new style of dance, and the only condition the guru put is that I have to be there at 5 o'clock. And the distance between my house and that place was 1 hour, 10 minutes. So if I have to be there at 5, I have to be there by 3:45. So at
As in morning 5 o'clock, early morning 5 o'clock, with
yes, yes,
you, with the baby and you, the condition was you have to be there at 5.
yes.
I
So
know that
no, I
traffic,
had to leave the
traffic those
baby,
days would have been
and
less, but not less. Even then, I'm sure Bangalore's traffic was always, it's been the same, just that it is multiplied probably to 10 times, but I'm sure even those days, traffic was like, how did you manage? How did you do? What you used to do?
yeah.
How did you?
So very happily, actually, we had one lady to take care of the baby, and Dhananjay used to drop me, and exactly before the other students would come, I would be there on time, 5, and my class continuously used to go on till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And whereas the other girls used to feel the lethargy used to go on and give so many reasons, I would not waste, because I knew how valuable those moments were, that each and every minute was very valuable, because leaving a baby at home, entrusting the baby on some mother lady and coming over, those few hours, 5 to 1, was very, very valuable. And the whole time I used to put into practice, and the guru used to just look at me. She just said, Shubha, I never expected any dancer from Bangalore to come and show so much of dedication. Of course, as you said before, you are a different person, and you will just definitely be um, uh, a topping on my crown or something like that. And she was very proud of me, because, oh yeah, it's my pride to say that I was a disciple of Protima Bedi, the world famous Odissi exponent. And she didn't believe that any dancer from Bangalore would. She was very proud of me. In fact, she told my husband that Shubha is going to be a feather on my crown also, and I'll be so happy. But before I could achieve any dreams in the style of Odissi, I lost her. We all lost her, and my dreams came down. So anyway, I'm very happy that I have always had Bharatanatyam, which my Bharatanatyam guru always used to say that Bharatanatyam is in your blood. And I should tell you one thing. I was very scared. Like, as I grew up in Bharatanatyam, somehow my mind said like, whenever I saw Kuchipudi or Mohiniyattam, Kathak, whatever style, I used to always be very, very interested. I didn't know how to express, but still, because of the training in Bharatanatyam, I thought it was like a kind of papa. No, 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 you should not think of other style because you are a Bharatanatyam dancer. You are learning Bharatanatyam. It's your duty to think only on one style and focus because, as you know, the world famous sentence is that one lifetime, one lifespan is not enough to master over one subject. So you should not think about that. I used to always have that block. But to my luck, when my Didi came from Delhi to Bangalore, and I was exactly at the verge of thinking, why should I get into a medical college when I think of dance all day through? Why can't I do something through dance? Because there's so much of theory involving dance and Bharatanatyam and world dance. Why should not I study the same subject in which I'm interested? So my prayers were answered through Natya Institute of Kathak and Choreography, which was instituted by my Guru, Kathak Guru Myra. And when she came, I just went to enroll into this graduation program because just then I had completed my 12th. But when after a week, my Bharatanatyam guru asked me, like, how is your Kathak practice going on? I said, no, sir, I go there only for choreography. No, 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 only Charu have joined and I have not. And he asked why. I said, no, sir, I'll dedicate myself to Bharatanatyam. And he said, very, very beautifully, he put it across, no, ma, the parallel training is always beautiful. Definitely, the knowledge of Kathak will make you more beautiful, more graceful as a dancer. And I can assure you, Bharatanatyam is in your blood and it will never go, or it will never get diluted, or it will never get mixed. So you can imagine, like, with that kind of assurance and so much of faith in me, and with all the blessings of my guru, I started learning Kathak under Dr.
I have this question always. When you're learning different stream, different classical genres, of course, do you think it's get mixed up when you're doing Bharatanatyam, the Kathak might come, or when you're doing Kathak? Does it happen? It's not my question though. I'm sure the general lay audience will always be thinking in this genre. Can you elaborate a little about it?
Definitely. The thing is, yeah, before seeing any dancer, anybody wants to like somebody, they can always say, yeah, she dances in both the styles so beautifully. And if you do not like the dancer, you know what I mean. You can always, without even seeing a single performance of the artist, you can say, oh, that lady, she does everything. Bharatanatyam, Antharanga, Kuchipudi, she mixes everything. It's very easy to say. But even to call yourself that you're learning one style needs a lot of dedication. That you have to remember. Any person who talks with loose tongue, that I've always come across. So the thing is, I was very careful, passionate teacher, and I didn't want any sort of that kind of a wrong perception on me to pass on to my students. Because wherever my students went, I always wanted people to recognize them saying that, oh, you learn under Shubha Dhananjay, that means your style must be wonderful. You must be a good dancer. You must be very talented. And that's what I expected. So I was very strict in teaching, and I wanted the best of pure dancing to be passed on to my students. So the first thing is when you dance two styles, the very first question in any audience mind is, would she mix the style? So basically what I want to say is, even when you want to start, it's like, for the basic training in any style of dance requires a certain amount of years. 8 years, 10 years, 15 years, for some people, even 20 or 25 doesn't really settle. And to learn two styles, to perform two styles needs more dedication, more concentration. So first thing, you'll have to see if you really suit the style which you want to learn. It's not that you saw somebody and if she can dance, why not? No. Are you interested? Are you really passionate about what you're trying to learn? And after learning also, it's like whenever you are performing, you have to really remember only the training in that style. Like what I the previous day I'm taking such big long Kathak classes and I'm practicing Kathak, and the next day I dance Bharatanatyam for 1.5 hours. No, it's not possible, because the next day if I have to really think everything about Bharatanatyam, a few days I just go low on that style so that I can concentrate completely on what I have to perform the next. And especially the other way, because basically there's one style in every artist which they're very comfortable, like the mother tongue. Maybe you know English, you know the national language Hindi, or you would have learned the other neighboring languages. But your feelings are always very easy in your own mother tongue. So for me, it is Bharatanatyam. Bharatanatyam, not only because I learned Bharatanatyam, I started with Bharatanatyam. It's also because we are in the atmosphere where we watch Bharatanatyam programs more than any other times. And hear the music which is associated with Bharatanatyam, the Carnatic music. So somehow we are mentally, you're always equipped with the basic style. Coming to the next style, which we would have acquired later, it's always very, very tricky, because you always know that you have learned with a lot of difficulty. Because when you start when you start the other style, especially in this case, it's north and south. Bharatanatyam is completely south with Carnatic music, and Kathak it's totally Hindustani with the whole music and everything. It's different. Right from the hastas, we are taught with neat hastas, all stiff, everything aligned and with energy, even at the tips of the hastas. Whereas in Qatar, everything is very graceful and nowhere does the rigidity come. It's all very graceful, and whether you stand, there also nothing is stiff. And the way
I
you
would want to
learn,
break in now. Can you demonstrate a small piece, probably a Krishnani Begane Baro in two styles? As I told you, a small demonstration we would like to do. I'll sing and she will be performing. First, we'll start with the Bharatanatyam style. Krishna
okay.
Begane Baro Krishna ni Begani Maro Krishna ni Begani Maro Krishna ni Begani Maro Baro Baro Krishna ni Begani Baro. That was wonderful. I'm sure you're keen to see the Kathak aspect to this. Shubhaji, in Kathak style.
Okay.
Krishna ni begane maru Krishna ni begane maru Krishna ni begane Baro Krishna ni begane Baro, 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 Krishna ni begani baro. That was wonderful, Shubhaji. I hope the audiences liked both the styles. She kept it distinct, and even with the expressions and mudras. I'm sure all of you would understand. It is just like cooking. Now, if you're making tea, you wouldn't add salt, and likewise, if you're making a spicy dish, you wouldn't add sugar. So you know, with the however busy you are, however you might be occupied, your body or your muscle memory tells you what you're doing. Likewise, when we have practiced a dance form for so many years, there is no way that the mixing up of styles, or you would just loosen up your elbows. Even there, you have, even when you're taking that cut, you have that grace, and you have that body language needs to be firm. I hope I've answered the questions of the audience that is keen to know. Proceeding on, did the kids anytime feel that the mother is not giving us so much attention, or the attention is divided between students as us? Anywhere did they feel that, or did they feel insecure that my mother belongs to the world, not to me, kind of?
They grew up with that, so they accepted the fact right from the beginning. Because they wouldn't, they knew that they will never change, they'll never be able to change me, because with so much of passion, and they got love not only of one mother, but many mothers, because all my students' parents were also involved, and they loved them. So I somehow feel like they enjoyed the motherly love of many mothers, and I don't think I snatched their childhood, because whenever I don't know, I have to ask them. Sometimes, yeah, we of course fight. You're not giving enough, and because sometimes, yes, they say, but still somehow I feel they do understand that they grew up with big, very big extended family with a lot of akkas and annas and aunties, uncles, and all that, which they have always relished. For me, somehow, I feel like I have done my best in bringing them up well, without any pride getting onto them, because it was very easy. That I always knew that being the child of a guru, the child tends to become more proud and more indisciplined, because it's always guarded by other students and other people who say, oh, it's a child, and they start doing a lot of pampering. But I always didn't let that happen, because whenever in the class, I always treated them as students, and they knew that I'm like that. So they didn't ask for more, because they already, they knew the experience without any partial, looking at my students and my sisters the same way. And the same thing continued with my daughters. And they get any extra role or extra thing to go on stage. So they have to earn it with a lot of hard work. And I'm so happy that they did.
How did you feel when all the three of you together, or how do you feel? That is the way I should frame the question. How do you feel when all the three of you, sometimes all the four as a family? I'm sure even Dhananjay ji has also played a couple of roles in your productions. How do you feel as a family when you're on stage? What is the feeling that you get? Of course, you feel proud, but then are there any discussions, arguments on the dining table when you go back home? It's like, no, this should not be there. Keep the work away and just enjoy the moment. How is it like? All the three of you, sometimes four of you as a family. Dhananjay ji also plays several characters in your dance productions. How do you feel as a family when you go on stage, and all the four of you are on stage and enacting your respective, be it your Srinivasa Kalyanam, where you play Srinivasa and your daughters are Lakshmi and Padmavati, or there is Kitturani Channamma or Madakari Nayaka, if I'm not wrong. where one of the productions where
Yes.
Jay is also playing the role of the Sardar. So, how do you feel as a family when you're on stage? And do you fight? Do you have arguments? Do you bring work home and discuss it around the dining table? Or is it like, no, in the dance class, we do this? How is it?
It's a beautiful question. It is actually our life always. I performed with my daughter. That was the best moment that my dad enjoyed. He said, "Amma, ನಾನು ತುಂಬಾ ಕಾಯ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. Like to see mother and daughter, you look beautiful ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು. Then I thought the younger one is too young. ಯಾವಾಗ ಅವಳು ಯಾವಾಗ ಬೆಳಿತಾಳೆ? When would we dance ಅಂತ? I don't know how time flew. And before I could even think like, oh, there is still more time. She had already grown tall, and we had so many shows together. In fact, it was the silver jubilee of my Natyantharanga Institute of Kathak and Choreography. The first thing is she said, Shubha, but you're one person. I would like to see you and your daughters. She loved Maya very much, and she had seen a lot of her solo. And that was the first time we mother and daughters performed together. And I could not believe that my younger one also had grown up to almost my height to perform along with me. And that was beautiful. So then we had a lot of performances with me and both of them. And with Dhananjay taking a lot of roles, that's always accidental by chance also many times, because once I think even Parshvanath had to do Mahishasura with me. Show like from the same company where they wanted to us to do the same items, and I had in fact he said he'd join me in the first program and travel with me for all the performances. But after the first performance, he could not join me for the other three cities because of some mishap in the family. And he was like feeling very bad. And he said, "Ma'am, what do I do?" Then I said, "Don't worry. Anyway, the costumes are with me, and the gade, whatever is required for the Mahishasura, the makeup, everything is ready. Anyway, I have my life support support system all the time with me. Okay, I'll make Dhananjay fight with me, and I'm very happy to kill him on stage." And the practice started when we arrived at the venue. Anyway, the performance was the next day. The whole day we practiced, and in fact, the funny incident was the hotel where we stayed. They gave us the whole hall to practice, and Dhananjay was so excited, and we started fighting. I was with the Trishula, and he was with the Gade, and we started with full. And he said, "Yeah, I'm not less than anybody. I can fight very beautifully, with more energy." And he did this, and there were three tube lights gone in one blow. The whole sound they came running, and we saw, and we were standing like this. We are Devi and Mahishasura, and they were so sweet. They just said, "It's okay, ma'am. We loved looking at your practice, and definitely will attend the performance. Don't worry about all these mess. We'll clear it up." And that happened. And we had this Hampi Utsava where in Narkasura Vadve, one more dancer had to come. Just before we left, that dancer could not come, the male dancer. And including Pulkeshi was there, but he was into another role. And the main Narkasura was supposed to be done by some other dancer. And due to his absence, again, Dhananjay was Narkasura, and I was there doing this and killing him. And most beautiful thing observed by a child, my daughter who was hardly 2, 3, 4 years old, she saw all these programs, shows. Then one day, a 3-year-old child, my younger one, she comes and tells me, "Amma, I don't like you." And I said, "What did I do now?" Then she said, "Why do you kill Appa always on stage?" I'm like, "Kill? What did I do?" "No, you're always on stage. You're with big guys with a trishula or a sword fighting, and finally you kill Appa. I don't like it." And I was like, okay. Anyway, that's just a character. And Appa, because he has not been trained in classical dance, he just got suited to the character, and he did that. So I just did the role of a Devi, but she was not satisfied. And maybe it was her prayers. I got this invitation to perform as Kittur Ranchanama in Kittur Utsava. And the first thing I ensured that it was that she sees the wedding sequence between me and Dhananjay. So that's how he got the king's role, and everybody were very happy. And finally, I could answer her saying that, say, now did you see? Now Papa is dressed as a king, and they're having a marriage scene, and she was very happy. So this is the kind of family thing going on, and between us, like fights and all, yeah, fights more than fight. I'll be shouting. I get more excited, and I am very like, have you practiced? You haven't practiced. The first thing is you come, and I say, no, it's okay. You just practice. I'll come. Or sometimes I want them to practice, and they feel, ma, it's already done. We are already ready. Why are you so tense? So these kind of tension and putting the blame on each other, tu me, I keep aside. And most of the times I observe, like when it's a very important performance where I'm presenting both of them, and the organizers through the government or anybody who dance very well, we want their performance. And I try to put all the pressure on them. I want you to do the best, and I want you to practice. Ma, that item we have done many times and we are ready. And I'll be like, no, you have not practiced. It's quite some time that you have done that item. And I'll be so tense. And just the next day performance, today night, they say, you need not multiple. And it's only a very small murmur kind of practice. And I'm so angry, and I'll be thinking they do not know the value of the performance, and they don't know what is hard work and all that. All those goes into my mind, and I'm very angry. And the next day I will not practice. I'll say, you do whatever and all. And I sit in the audience, and I'm I'm shocked. I'm so surprised that they look so beautiful and they dance so well. And I keep wondering, how did they do that? And further to that, what happens in my mind is, if within a small practice, if they could dance so well, why not a practice of 10 hours or 15 hours, like what I used to do, so that they'll be fruitful? That doesn't happen. And that is the biggest blow for any dancer mother, I think, for any dancer mother who wants much more out of her children or her daughter. So now I know, like, where to limit myself, where to cut myself, and where to trust them with a performance, and how much. Otherwise, it's very tough, because because our dreams are always towards the riyas, the perfection, the practice, lots and lots of practice. So if that becomes too much, sometimes the relationship becomes very, very stringent, and it's really very hard on ourselves. So that's the time when some people come up and say, no, ma'am, it's okay. They look beautiful. They have done, and they're very talented. You shouldn't be very hard. And I say, okay, it's okay. Because they definitely know the true value of art, and they know what to do. So these things actually go on all the time, because all the three want perfection. The basic thing is, those two also, they're very keen on doing the best. And yeah.
So all of you focus on perfection. So it is obviously that it is striving for the perfection, which makes you probably get angry or wild on each other, and that is so nice.
If the performance is somewhere in the next month and I tell some dates, they assume they have tests. Ma'am, we may have tests, and I cannot miss the lab, all those things. They have so many reasons. Whereas our own children, they don't have the provision for such late exams. But main exam, main final exams, I'll always find out a way where okay, you have exam till 3 o'clock, 3:15, come with your costume and quickly dress up and we'll start performance. It's as strict with them. So they don't have any reasons where they can run away, even if they are not well. Yeah, first so this kind of dedication, I don't think the other parents will let their children. More than anything, they would have already started saying that she's not well. She may not feel well. She may feel like 90, more than 90%, it would have taken out their hard work, sweat, and so many sacrifices that they just have to leave. In fact, the common reason the common reason where I can say that they would have sacrificed, especially we say no school trips, no college trips. Yeah, if you ask me, like, do you have any conflict between your children and yourself? The first thing is, Amma, you didn't let us go to Delhi. All our classmates went. Ma, there was a Goa trip. Everybody went except me. And you said the same time you have a performance in some other place or in Bangalore. We had to stay back. And I was the leader during this Independence Day morning march. And I was selected among the whole school. And you didn't let me go because early morning we had another performance. Amma, you didn't do that. So there are so many things they would have missed. At that time, it doesn't get into my mind. I would say that's very ordinary. This is very important. But when we recall, yeah, they have many reasons to say you didn't let us do us. But still, the love of dance, the love for the art and the dedication and the commitment they give for the dance field is much higher than others. And if it's there in others, definitely that student would be a very lovable and a very trusted student, believe me, for any dance teacher.
I hope the question about nepotism is answered well, because when it comes to our own, now that you have said, we have spoken about mixing up of styles and all that, I'm sure our viewers as well as me are eager to see all the three styles. If you have brought in some production or somewhere where all three styles we can see performed by you and your daughters. Can we go to the clip? Can we?
Yeah, we have a very beautiful Trishaili. Yeah.
Sure, we will proceed to the performance.
ಸುಕುಮಾರ ತಕುಂಧ ದಂಡ ಝುಣ್ಣು ಕುಕುಂಧ ತಟಿ ಧಣ್ಣ ಮಯೂರ ವಾಹನ ರೆ ಕುಂಧ ತಾಂ ತಕುಂಧ ದಂಡ ಝುಣ್ಣು ಕುಕುಂಧ ತಟಿ ಧಣ್ಣ ಮಯೂರ ವಾಹನ ರೆ ಕುಂಧ ತಾಂ ಕುಕು ಕುಕು ಕುಕುಂಧ ಕುಕ್ಕುಟ ಧ್ವಜ ಕುಕು ಕುಕು ಕುಕುಂಧ ಕುಕ್ಕುಟ ಧ್ವಜ ತಕುಂಧರಿ ತಕುಂಧ ಕುಕುಂಧ ರಿ ಕುಂಧರಿ ಕುಕುಂಧ ರಿಕುಂಧ ತಕುಂಧ ರಿ ತಕುಂಧ ಕುಕುಂಧ ರಿ ಕುಕುಂಧ ತದ್ಧಿಂದರಿ ಗಿಡದಂ ತದ್ಧಿಂದರಿ ಗಿಡದಂ ತದ್ಧಿಂದರಿ ಗಿಡದಂ ನಾಯಕ ಗಿಡದಗದ ಧಿಂದರಿ ಗಿಡದಂ ಗಿಡದಗದ ಧಿಂದರಿ ಗಿಡದಂ ಗಿಡದಗದ తద్ధిం తరికిడదం నాయక సేనా నాయక తక్క దిక్కు తద్ధిం తరికిడదం తద్ధిత్తక దిగు తద్ధిం తరికిడదం తక దిగు తక దిగు తద్ధిం తరికిడదం నాయక సేనా నాయక సుర సేనా నాయక
Sari sani sari sari sani sari pa sari sari ni sari pa ma
It was so wonderful to see all the three of you in action on stage, and it was beautiful. I'm sure our audiences would have liked it. As a parting note, is there anything that you would want to tell the younger generation, the youth of today, or probably dancers who are coming to this field?
Yeah, tap your potential to the maximum level. Just see, like, identify what you're looking at. And this is a field which needs a lot of dedication. It's not filmy, or it's not I'm not getting that word. Glamorous. Sorry, it's not glamorous as you think, because you would have seen a seasoned performer who has dedicated her whole life and taking attributes and appreciation. But if you really want that, it's a long journey. It's a journey full of sweat and it's quite a long journey. So only if you enjoy it, and if you take it as inspiration, if you take it as your love, and if you take it as, yes, this is my life, then it's possible. or else you're just going to be called as jack of all, master of none most of the times, and just be hopping around saying that, yes, even I have learned dance, I know how to dance. And this is not only about how knowing how to dance, it is about getting immersed deeper. And one thing that you come to know is the more you deeper you go, you start feeling that you're nothing. There's so much, and that brings in a lot of sense of humility, and it's a learning process the whole life. So, but with all these kind of things, don't think it's very hard and it's not possible. Everything is possible only with your grit and love, passion.
Thank you, Shubhaji. It was wonderful having you at this festival, and I'm sure the viewers get such a beautiful insight into your life, into your artistic journey so far, with respect to your family and the support and the kind of lifestyle you've been living. And I'm sure and happy and glad that the viewers are also happy listening to your wonderful conversations the last 1.5 hours. And
Conversation is only possible because you were there. Yeah, conversation, I'm saying, is beautiful only when the person who is speaking to is also very beautiful. And I'm so happy that you have been living a life of artist very beautifully. And you are versatile, whether you're speaking or singing, dancing, and you have so many other fields connected to the art, and you make use of everything so artistically and aesthetically. And it was a pleasure speaking to you over this beautiful platform which you have created, Vishwa Nruthya Bhushana. It's a beautiful long title, but still very beautiful. In fact, I still remember when you added me into your closed WhatsApp group. What is this? And you very clearly said, yes, Shubhaji, there are so many dancers, but this group is for and beauty, and I have always appreciated that. So all the very best, and looking forward to see more artists speaking about their life and their artistic journey.
Thank you for being a part of this wonderful, I can say, this conversation is like we get a sneak peek into every other artist's life, and I'm sure our viewers are also enjoying and have heard a lot about your lifestyle, about you being a dancer, the journey during the course of time. Thank you for being a part of it. And I would like to thank all the viewers who joined us and who witnessed this program. Thank you one and all. And do watch out for tomorrow's artists who will be featured in Vishwa Nruthya Bhushana. ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರೆ, ನೀವಿಷ್ಟು ಹೊತ್ತು ಖ್ಯಾತ ನೃತ್ಯಾಂಗನೆ ಶ್ರೀಮತಿ ಶುಭಾ ಧನಂಜಯ್ ಅವರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಈ ಒಂದು ಸಂದರ್ಶನ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಮಾತುಕತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತೊಡಗಿದ್ದನ್ನ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೇಳಿದಿರಾ, ಆಸ್ವಾದಿಸಿದಿರಾ. ಅವರ ಮನದಾಳದ ಮಾತು, ಅವರ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವ, ಅವರ ಜೀವನ ಶೈಲಿ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೋಡಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅನ್ಕೋತೀನಿ. ನಾಳೆ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಕಲಾವಿದರು ನಮ್ಮೊಂದಿಗೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ವಿಶ್ವ ನೃತ್ಯಗಾನ ಭೂಷಣ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಸರಣಿಯ, ಅಂತರ್ಜಾಲ ಸರಣಿಯ ಉತ್ಸವದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಲ್ಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಬನ್ನಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮವರನ್ನು ಕರೆತನ್ನಿ. ಏಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಬರೀ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಫೋನ್ ಇಂದಾನು ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅನ್ಲೈಕ್ ಮೊದಲಾದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಒಂದು ಪ್ಯಾಂಡಮಿಕ್ ಮುಂಚೆ ನೀವೊಂದು ಆಡಿಟೋರಿಯಂ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಇದು ನೀವು ಕೂತ್ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದನೇ ನೀವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂತಹ ದಿಗ್ಗಜರ ಮಾತುಗಳನ್ನ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾಳೆಯೂ ಬನ್ನಿ, ನೀವು ಬನ್ನಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮವರನ್ನು ಕರೆತನ್ನಿ. ಸ್ಟೇ ಇಂಡೋರ್ಸ್, ಸ್ಟೇ ಸೇಫ್, ಫೈಟ್ ಕರೋನಾ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.